So let's get today's event started. One size fits none. How to deliver personalized learning at scale with Nirmala Ravi and Rich Vass. Welcome both to Training Magazine Network. Go ahead and unmute.
Thank you, Philip.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rich.
Hey, everybody.
Nimi, welcome.
Thanks so much. We're so glad to see you.
Nimi, point your camera a little bit down. I'm sorry. We want to get the full view of you.
Okay.
There. Yep, almost.
Much better?
Just a little bit more. A little, not too much, but we'll go with it if we need to. I know it's just. Or maybe move a little more forward. Not much better, but we'll go with it, Nimi. Yeah, if you move a little forward, that might be better. You know, the things we have to do these days, right? Yeah, it's fine. Thank you, Nimi. Okay.
We can see most of your head.
Welcome.
That's good. Yeah. Thank you, Philip. And it's fun to watch everybody saying hello in the chat. Nimi and I are very glad to be here with you today. I am in Chennai, India, and Nimi's in Bangalore, which is right next door. And Nimi, you have better weather than I do.
Sometimes.
I got to visit Bangalore by train last year, and it was much cooler there. So I love going to Bangalore. Hey, Joyce is from Bangalore. Hey, Joyce. All right, so we're really excited to be here with you today. This all came about because of an article that Nimi wrote. She wrote a blog article about personalized learning and how one size fits none. So if you haven't seen that blog article, definitely check it out. You can go to elblearning.com and search for the blogs, and you can see that there. So we took Nimi's awesome work and we created a webinar. Nimi, do you want to make a speech about your blog?
Well, that was it. I just felt that, out there in the world, you have so many ways to personalize. You have Netflix, which is giving you so many options, but in the corporate world, that's not the case, and that's what actually got me thinking.
I love it.
Yeah.
And you're right. There's so many things we do in our personal lives that are personalized to us. What about learning? I see we have some friends here also from Chennai. There's Mexa. We have friends here, Nimi. U.S. friends and Indian friends and friends from all over the world. So let's warm up with a poll question. This is the first question we want to ask them. We have a few of these, but it's, in what way would you most like to see learning personalized to you? Maybe adjust to my years in the field, cater to my learning preferences, understand my personal belief system, know my learning history, consider my hobbies and interests. Okay, here we see the answers are coming in. The big winner is cater to my learning preferences. I love that. And then next up, very close, is adjust to my years in my field. It knows I'm an adult learner and it's going to adjust to me. And also know my learning history, know what I've been through. Nobody's really into, it doesn't really know what my belief system is, what are my values and all that. And it doesn't need to know my hobbies and interests, but these things in a learning context, these are important. I think that's great. Nimi, what do you think about that? Cater to my learning preferences. That's what you were saying as we were prepping, is there's a number of different ways we like to learn. I don't want to read a bunch of stuff. Maybe I want to watch a video, or maybe I want to have a discussion group with somebody. So that's a big deal for this audience. Okay, thank you to everyone. And it's interesting to see how all of that comes through that way. Okay, jumping forward again here. I would love it if we could do a whiteboard exercise. And Philip, forgive me if I'm going to break the webinar here, but is that possible, or should we just do the chat?
Let me see if I can enable it on the fly for you. Hang on just a moment.
Okay. What would be cool, guys, if you had a magic wand, how would you make learning hyper-personalized? And I mean, we could start with the chat, but if we did a whiteboard, that would be even cooler. But we're throwing Philip a curveball here.
You sure are. Hang on just a moment.
It's fun to see all the chats going on here.
Okay, I'm going to just take over here and just start.
Okay, thank you, Philip.
Oops. Yeah, hang on just a moment. Of course, my mouse decides to be petulant.
I do see some chats coming
there
in.
we go.
Okay, whiteboard time.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there.
Okay, now.
So if you had a magic wand, how would you make a hyper learning personalized in our, oh, the tool isn't displaying. Hang on.
Well, Marissa's saying, if I had a magic wand, I'd love to have opportunities to practice specific workplace scenarios with coaching. Yes, agreed. Dina, learning styles, roles, and goals. We may be okay without the whiteboard, actually, Philip, because we've got lots of great comments coming.
I apologize. You know how things update and then enabling it. So, well, we gave that a college try, but it looks like
No
everybody's
worries. That was totally my fault. But great comments, you guys.
No
I'm seeing
worries.
everything flow in here.
Yeah.
Filter out my prior knowledge. Phenomenal. That really harkens back to the old days of Malcolm Knowles and adult learning theory. Adults come to the learning experience with plenty of experience, workflow, scenario based, adjusting the same topic to different levels. Yeah, that's great. So I really appreciate all of those comments, you guys. Oh, look at this, Rachel. I would have a battery over the head of everyone in the audience to know when I'm losing people. Maybe that would be cool, right? You have a little battery over the head, and if people start to fade, that you can see their battery is draining. Oh, wow. Well, if it's a magic wand, you can have whatever you want. So, okay, many of what you're typing in here, guys, is very possible today. I saw things about scenarios. I'd love to have a situation where I could coach. I could get a coaching sort of an experience based on a specific type of a situation. Probably most of you are using AI these days to do a lot of that. I know I am. I'll pull up my Copilot. I guess I got a new machine here that has Copilot built in. So I actually push a button and Copilot comes up on my Windows machine and I can ask it whatever I want in an instance. And I do that a lot. I'm a big fan of Star Trek. So I've been thinking of the holodeck for years. What a great training experience. You program something, walk in and get that experience. Seems like we're getting closer and closer to that. So thanks for indulging us on just imagining for a little bit. I want to just say we've arrived when it comes to human behavior engineering. And we've called ourselves instructional designers for years. We then sort of evolved into learning experience designers, learning experience architects. But this concept of human behavior engineering, where you're literally engineering the behavior of humans now, I think we've arrived. So now we're at the top of the mountain. We've been talking about it for years. Bloom's taxonomy. How do we get to the top of that pyramid, right? And we want to do active learning. We want to do application-based learning. We want synthesis and evaluation and creation. We want to engineer what humans are doing in the learning environment. I think we're there. And we're going to talk today. We promised you some real-life scenarios, some stuff that's actually happening. So we're going to share some of those with you today. I'm going to let Nimi talk a little bit about moving from yikes to yes. Go ahead, Nimi.
Thank you, Rich. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad that you're all here. What Rich said, that we have arrived, right? But I think even now, when you look at, we have to be real. 60 to 80% of learners say that workplace training isn't relevant to them. And we wonder why engagement and retention are low. So the one size fits all model might check boxes, but it doesn't really change behavior, does it? So outside of work, our learners are getting very highly personalized experiences. Spotify, knows what they like. YouTube picks up their next video for them. But our training, it's still stuck in the broadcast mode. So how do we move from yikes to yes, this actually works? So let's play a reflection game here. Let's turn it into a mini reflection game. Which of these learning challenges are you facing today? So I'll call out each point on the left side, which is generic e-learning. And if your organization is still doing it, just drop a yikes in the chat and let's see how many we can collect. So the first one is same content for all learners.
Oh, there's a lot of yikes.
Yeah,
Oh no, we're gonna blow up the panel.
yeah.
Okay.
Linear
All
one
right.
size fits all path.
Yeah.
Then long modules with passive content, minimal learner control, limited relevance to today day-to-day work, no feedback loops or data usage, hard to scale effectively. So if you're collecting yikes, don't worry, you're not alone. The real shift here is designing smarter. And now we'll talk about how we can scale with techs like AI later. But personalization is not always about AI or fancy tools. It's about the intention and how we structure the learning and the relevance. Like many of you said that you want examples that's just about me. So the good news is that we don't really need to start from scratch. I mean, it's once if it's not always that you have to change the content, but you have to change the delivery. So personalization is not always about fancy tools. So let's look at what we can do with what we have right now. So the right hand column, it's not about some kind of a future fantasy. It's doable. So let's try this. So same content for all learners. So let's not make HR sit through sales scenarios and give expert uh, users the basic. You can tailor the content by role, skill level, or goal, right? And linear one size fits all, you can let the learners influence their own path with branching and based on their choices or prior knowledge. And if it's long passive modules, you can trade it for shorter interactive pieces, scenarios, simulations, practice, things that make them think and do. And minimal learner control, give them pre-assessments, choice, optional paths, just like Netflix allows you to pick what you want when you want. And training that doesn't connect to the job, you can personalize it with real world situations. And if they can't use it, they lose it. No feedback or data driven support. Use AI driven nudges or coaching prompts that will help the flow of work, not just through the LMS. And if it's hard to scale, we can make it modular, reusable content and personalize it and scale it without reinventing the wheel. So it's not always about using AI. So this isn't about throwing out your content, it's about changing how it's delivered, right? And with AI and smart design, we can actually make this scalable. So
Yeah, it's
now
more
that we have,
approachable
yeah,
than it's ever
it's
been.
more
Sorry, keep
approachable.
going, Nimi.
Yeah. So now that we have broken what a more personalized, we have broken up this, let's go in and see what we can actually get here. What does it look like to start small and scale small and build something that's sustainable?
Thank
Can
you,
you move to
Nimi.
the next? Yeah, next slide.
Yep. Here we go.
So, like I said earlier, this is what we did. We started small, and instead of thinking of let me walk you through a story that where we actually captured all of these six in action. This is a great case study from a global medical device company we partnered with, and they had a classic one size fits all onboarding experience. So everyone from field reps to internal operations went through the same material, and surprise, no one found it relevant. Engagement was very low and completion rates were lagging. So this is what we did step by step. First, we segmented the learners by role, not just by title, but by what success looks like for them in their day-to-day jobs. For examples, field reps needed real-time uh, decision-making practice, so we designed scenario-based sales simulations. And internal operations team, they needed tool mastery, so we focused on short walkthroughs and job aids, while new managers, they got coaching modules in the form of videos and reflection prompts that was tied to their journey. So this allowed the same learning ecosystem to serve very different audiences very efficiently. So, Rich, What did we
Yes.
see? We saw a 40% jump in engagement, right? Because of this, we started small, we started building blocks, and we use pre-assessment and leverage data, and we mix the formats. And the key takeaway here is that start with what you have got, then build, test, and adapt. So personalization doesn't have to be perfect on day one. It just needs to start.
Thank you, Nimi. And
Yeah.
what I like especially about that is we're taking away some of the complexity. There's still humans in the loop, even though AI is certainly playing a big role now, but defining what those roles are, explaining what their duties are. Then AI is a tool that helps come up with what are the personalized bits that go in there to help make something that feels very personal. Okay, so now let's segment to a playbook. So we've got some tools and tactics we'd like to talk to you about. We're going to share several here. Things that we've noticed in the industry. There are a few ELB solutions here, a few others that we found out in the wild that we think are amazing. So we're going to talk about a few of these. So let's start with this video. And I think I'm going to have Philip load my video for me. Here we go. All right. So just like every other learning company out there, there's definitely a movement toward providing some sort of AI interface to help our learners to become more empowered, to make things more personalized to them. This is an example of what we're calling the AI Learning Companion. And we're going to show you a quick video here, just a 25-second video. I'm going to pause it as we go along here. But this particular training program is just an example. This is the ELB AI Learning Companion running inside of ELB's Rockstar Learning platform. So it's an actual LMS-enabled SCORM experience that is trained to understand the content in the particular module that the learner is consuming. So let me just click play here and I'll show you. Here's a cybersecurity course. So as the learner is moving through cybersecurity, and I'm going to pretend I'm on the marketing team. So I'm just finishing up my cybersecurity, and here pops up a little widget, the little companion, the AI Learning Companion. This is the ELB security instructor. So as the learner is kind of having the experience and types something in here that says, hey, the training mentioned phishing. Can you please list the characteristics of phishing emails? Give me an example that applies to my role in the marketing department. So 70 to 80% of that expert knowledge in the course is on tap and available in a personalized way for the learner. So the learner types in that prompt and boom, what comes right up is example scenarios. Hey, as a member of the marketing department, you might receive multiple emails that appear to be from vendors or partners or internal communications. Here's how you can apply some of the things to look out for. Suppose you receive an email from a well-known marketing software provider asking you to verify your account information and so on. So that kind of an experience, and it just provides several examples along the way of what can be done. And then there's lots that's provided here from the AI Learning Companion that helps you dig deeper into something that's personally meaningful to me. So, okay, thanks, Philip, for pulling that video up. But that's an example of something that's personalized directly to the learner. And there are lots of ways you can do that on your own. Probably you're already doing that on your own. But having it available as a little pop-up in your LMS that's trained on all the pieces of knowledge in your LMS, that's powerful. And that becomes something that really tells a cool story about personalization. It kind of segments into tutors versus assistants. So the AI companion that we're providing to the world right now can act as a tutor. For example, walk me through the 5-step process for handling a customer complaint. It can also act as an assistant, which is a deeper thinker. It gets into more complexity. So take a look at this profit and loss statement. I'm going to actually upload it. Give me a breakdown of my margin targets for the next 3 quarters based on our best practices. And it's not just something that's going into the wild in ChatGPT or out there on Gemini or what have you. It's something that's being loaded into your system that after training that's been provided to your people on your topic. So it's contextually aware. And then we could even go, another example here would be like a pharma or life sciences. You could say the tutor side, hey, I just got through product training, so please give me the top 3 side effects on product X. Give me a scenario and how to ethically discuss this with a healthcare professional based on our code of conduct. Well, the assistant, the deeper thinker could say, you could get really personal. Here's my sales territory data for the last quarter, the profile of Dr. Smith, cardiologist I'm meeting, based on her prescribing history and our product's clinical trial results for cardiac patients, generate a custom call plan for me. So this type of hyper-personalization, when we get back to this notion of human behavior engineering, rather than just being an instructional designer and just putting everything into a nice, modules and topics and objectives and activities and all of that, now I'm providing something that is very personal for the learner that's going to help them not only learn what they need to know, but then apply what they need to know right away. So this is happening right now. We're using OpenAI as our backend. We have an XAPI. We have an API with OpenAI to help us with these types of things. And there's some other tools we're using on the back end as well. So let's continue. This is just showing a little bit of how you can do this on your own. So there's Notebook LM that was just purchased by Google. Here's OpenAI, Claude, and Gemini. Some of the things on the left-hand side. There's an LLM. Is it an LLM agnostic tool? Yes or no. Build and deployment ease. How easy is it to put your content in there and make it work? Depending on the tool you're using, it's high or low. Embeddability, I think this is important. If you want it to ride along with all your LMS content, then yeah, the embeddability is can be easy to do if you're focused on the right tools. So this does give you some sense of what's what. LLM agnostic means it's not focusing on a specific LLM. You can use any LLM, large language model, to make it work. So LLM agnostic means, that it'll take whatever. So if you're using Notebook LM, well, that's a Gemini tool. If you're using OpenAI or Claude or Gemini, well, those are all their own LLMs, but you could determine with the ELB AI Learning Companion which LLM you'd like to use. So, okay, we're moving forward. Let's talk about something I saw in the wild recently. Here's a good friend of ELB and somebody you guys might know. I'm going to pop out here, and actually, I think I have to share my screen. So stand by while I do that. Thank you. Thank you, Philip. And so here we go. Let me pop out here and show you what I saw in the wild recently. Hopefully you guys can see my screen here. Philip, tell me if you can't.
We can see your LinkedIn. Yes.
Okay, good. So here's a good friend of ELB, Vince Hahn. He runs Mobile Coach, which is a chatbot business. And he's been running this for 10 years, I think, maybe 8 to 10 years. But look what he posted on LinkedIn 2 weeks ago. One of my favorite emerging use cases for a mobile coach AI chatbot: personalized career development. It's simple to set up, delivers big value. Connects your LMS course catalog, plug in your competency model and your performance framework, and then let employees tell their AI chatbot coach what their career goals are. So I saw that earlier with the magic wand exercise. I mean, this is here and happening now. And that means it's similar to what I was just showing you about the AI learning companion that lives and breathes in our space here at ELB. But here's Vince out there with Mobile Coach, which is an amazing company and a partner with ELB. Their chatbot's creating a personalized development plan using existing resources. And you can choose the nudging and reminding and coaching. How much coaching do you want? How much nudging do you want? Maybe I'm just going to learn today about new products. Okay, well, would you like me to check in with you in a couple of weeks to see how it's going? Yeah, please do that. And ask me some specific questions about this particular product line, because I'm really going to be trying to sell that. And then back-end analytics and the whole 9 yards. So that, amazing. So again, another tool that's out there in the wild that's happening now that we're saying is kind of part of our playbook. Some tools and tactics that you can definitely take advantage of. Let's show you another one. So this is a tool that ELB acquired a few years ago. It's Rehearsal. It's a video-based coaching platform, and I'm hoping that my career as an instructional designer began back in '93, and since that time, I've built a lot of scenarios, a lot of what would you do, a lot of choose your own adventure, learner explorations, and so on. And almost every single time, I have to provide a scenario and say, please choose the correct response, A, B, C, or D. or true false or multiple select or you name it. Well, I hope we're well beyond that. I'm going to share my screen again, and I'm going to show you an example, a live example that's happening right now on a project for a client that will remain unnamed. But this particular experience using rehearsal changes the game. So in this particular course, we're training the learner how to become ready for a waste coordinator interview, teaching you all about waste, hazardous waste, how to handle it, how to, all the chemical properties, how to inspect a site, and so on. And we want that person to be ready to show up in an interview and actually do well. So we come into the rehearsal tool, as you can see here on my screen. And there's a guy sitting right here. He's an AI guy. So I'll just click play and he'll ask a question. I don't know if we're going to hear this audio or not, but let's. I hope you guys heard that. But if you didn't, he said, tell me about a time when you handled a waste compliance issue. Now down here, we're reminding the learner what they learned. Remember, we learned about the situation, what was going on. We learned about, you gotta explain the situation, explain the task. What were you supposed to do? What was the action you took, and what was the result? What happened in the end? That's the STAR method. Make sure you use the STAR method in your response. So, in this particular case, I can actually apply myself and say, all right, let me give it a try. I'm going to try the STAR method, and I'm going to see how well I do. So I begin here, and I say, all right, I'm going to try to think about a time when I saw a waste coordinator situation. So, well, there was this one time where I was working in a warehouse and I saw some spillage, and then I reported that to my manager. So I'm going to submit that recording, and the AI is going to do a quick little check on that and say, all right, let's analyze that response and see how well Rich did against the STAR method. Well, nice attempt. We recommend refining your response so it's a little closer. You did a good job identifying a waste compliance issue, and you did take action by reporting it to your manager. However, to really fully meet the instructions, you need to use the STAR method. You really should do this. And now why don't you try it again? So now I can click retry my response and do it again. So I'll spare you the agony of hearing me walk through waste compliance that I know nothing about. But that is another great example of a hyper-personalized experience that I hope we're leaning into now. And ours is one tool. Rehearsal is a tool that's an ELB learning tool. It's not, it's not the only tool that's out there, but something like that. You can use ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or any of the LLMs out there to actually do something very similar in your training now. And we can talk about some of what that looks like in terms of security. We feel like we're beyond a lot of the security issues. So we can talk about, that's a different webinar. But Nimi, I wanted to pause there for a second to kind of get your comment on that as well. This, this sort of new way of doing scenario-based learning, I mean, it's a game changer from the perspective of allowing in your opinion, what is the power of a learner hearing themselves doing it right and then getting real-time feedback?
Yeah, so we can remove the constraint of any fixed options, right? I mean, and the field is now open for AI to give you feedback in real time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think that's the key. And if you're doing a role play, and by the way, guys, this does change the game for role plays. Used to be I'd have to practice with somebody else, and then they would give me feedback, and I would give them feedback. We can still do that, and I think we're seeing a lot of return back to humanity. We're seeing a lot of that in our world here. More blended learning solutions, more ILT along with self-paced. So some of that's happening now. But Nimi, would you share kind of what we're talking about here, maybe as a summary of that?
Yeah, so this image here, it actually illustrates a typical scenario-based training model where the learner is given a fixed set of responses to choose from. And while this approach offers structure, it limits the learner's ability to think freely or respond. And it may not reflect how they would actually behave in a real customer interaction. So if we were to remove the constraint of fixed options, like we remove the fixed options of A, B, C, D, right? Then how would we go about it? So instead of a multiple choice answer, we can provide AI voice interaction where the learner speaks their response, and the AI will evaluate the spoken response and offers immediate personalized feedback.
Mhm.
So then the learner's decision to apologize and offer a discount is acknowledged as a strong response. For instance, here the customer is upset about a delayed shipment. What should you do? So in the typical scenario based interaction, you would just provide A, B, C, D. But now the responses are beyond that: A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I mean, it's infinite. And it
Yes, all the way to
depends on,
Z, and then AA
yeah,
and BB and CC and so on. It could be whatever's in your
yeah,
brain. Yeah, right on. I mean, that's exactly
yeah,
right. I mean, thank you.
yeah.
So I hope, I'm hoping and encouraging our teams as well as we're developing learning for all of our clients. I hope we're moving beyond the ABCD. I don't know about you guys, but I'm so over it. But I'm a 57-year-old guy. Wait, no, I'm 56. I gotta give myself that year. So I've been doing this for 30 years. Man, I'm over it. I'm over ABCD. I'm over true false. But I'm really into, let me put it in my own words. Let me see how that feels. Let me communicate it. Let me get feedback on it. Man, I'm into that, and I like that, and it helps me. And I do it all the time now because I think it's really cool. So you might argue and say, and we had more time, we would open up the mic and say, let's talk about it a little more. But you know, if you're just learning, maybe it is powerful to just keep it real simple, A, B, C, D. So I think maybe there's a room for that too. All right, couple more
And
examples.
Nimi and
Yes.
Rich, I hate to interject, but we have so many great questions queued up right now. Would you mind
Okay.
pausing before we move on? I'm going to bring over these questions, and because they're directly related to the segment that you just did.
Oh, nice.
And if you want to handle which ones that you can, let's do that.
Okay, let's see. Thank you, Antoinette. How are the questions and response branching uploaded into the tool? I think we're talking about rehearsal there, the tool I was showing. There is an admin panel, and the ID or the LXD or the developer, somebody on the learning team is loading all that into the backend. But then the AI, you're telling the AI, hey, look at this right here and give feedback, like the STAR method. Look at the STAR method and listen for that. And if the learner does that, give them feedback. But as you saw, I messed it up. I explained the situation. I talked to my manager, and I didn't do it very well. So it gives me feedback. Nimi, do you know about Udly? I see Antoinette is asking about
No.
Udly. Sorry, Antoinette, I don't know
I
about that
think
one.
I think Josh was checking into that, and
Yeah.
Okay,
he'll work
good.
with ELB also. He'll reply directly to Antoinette on that one. So we go
Okay,
on to
awesome.
Fiorellas.
Lisa's
Yep.
question, I do see Lisa down here. Do managers have access to the coaching that happened in rehearsal? Yes, they do. So your managers could go in and click review and look at all the responses. But what we're hearing so much is I don't have time. I don't have time for that. So, but if you do, it's there. You can certainly go in and review it that way. Now here's Fiorella. Is there an option to do this with the information typed out instead? Meaning you don't speak it, you type it? Not in rehearsal, but that's interesting. You could do that on your own in a little bot that you're using with an LLM backend. Certainly you could, but in rehearsal, it's a speech-based tool, unless Josh knows differently. But I think it's only speech-based. I don't think you can type in. So we have our
And
friend Josh.
Fiorella, Josh will communicate directly with you here if
Okay,
that's different.
we got
Yeah.
Josh supporting us on our back end.
Or
So
Josh, he's going to have a lot. He has a lot of great things to find here. But
yeah, we're putting him to work. Let's see.
that's
Let's
right.
see. Sarah says, good for soft skills. What if we're stuck with remaining with an articulate rise? That's a good question too. If you're in Rise, there are some options. Now, somebody said something about storyline blocks. Using Rise with built-in storyline blocks. Our AI learning companion is wrapped in storyline, so it'll work in your LMS. But when you wrap it and put it into your LMS, the backend is hitting our server and our OpenAI API. So it's still reporting to your LMS, but it's doing a hit or a ping out to the ELB server on the back end. So that gets into a lot of tech, but that can still work. It still can sit within a storyline wrapper on your LMS. So that's probably the best I can do with those. Unless you have anything, Nimi, on any of these.
No. Do managers have access to the coaching that happened in rehearsal? Yes.
Yes, I answered that one. Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
they definitely do. Thank you, Philip.
Okay, you are welcome. I'll keep that going here. And thank you
Okay.
all to our members here for the great engagement and questions.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I have one more to show you here, and this one will blow your mind. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. I'm going to click this here, and I'm going to pop out to a McKinsey example that I found out in the wild. And this is McKinsey, as you all know, is a consulting firm that's been around for a long time, and they are, they've got a new tool called Quantum Black that is an AI brain, and watch what it's doing. Philip, can I share my screen here?
Oh,
Or am I
sure.
still
Hang on.
sharing? Let me pop out here, and okay, here we go, guys. Check this out. You may have already heard about that or heard about this and seen this, but when I read about this recently, I was mind blown. So here's an example on McKinsey's website. This is about a telecom employee's example, personalized AI-powered training and coaching tools. So we scroll down, we look at kind of what they worked with. They were working with their tool, Quantum Black, as you see here. And they were really focused in on helping a call center become more effective. So this is what they did. They took data from millions of calls, field service visits, and more, and they fed that into a capability engine. And then they used that material to create learning at scale. So that's a ton of data, and they gathered tons and tons of information. Then they loaded with team and individual performance data. Insights engines identified the skill gaps and generated individual nudges and shared performance insights on a user-friendly dashboard. So what that means is, if I'm a learner in this telecom, I think it was a German telecom, and it's captured all of my discussions, my transcripts or whatnot. And then as I'm going about my daily work and I need some insight on how to handle a particular situation, I can get performance insights on a dashboard that knows me personally. And then those insights connect to personalized and gamified learning resources. They're on individual employee dashboards, and they're used in daily workflows. So they're actually continuing to track me as I'm in the real world, doing my thing, taking these calls. Am I doing it right? It's evaluating. It's giving me feedback. Am I saying the right things? Do I know the right products? Am I using empathy? All of that. And I can decide how I want to turn it on or off. How much of that feedback from the AI brain do I really want? Let me go to number 4 here, the final one. The engine assesses impact on agent performance. It refines future learning suggestions. It promotes continuous learning. Guys, this is Big Brother in the sky at your organization, watching what you're doing based on your learning. So now I have to ask a poll question. So let's go to the next screen, because I want to ask this group, what do you think about that? I mean, how comfortable are you with AI curating your personal learning experience? Love it. I've been waiting for this. Oh, wait, I think we're on the wrong. This is the wrong poll. We want the temperature check poll here, Philip. I'm seeing what is your biggest barrier to personalization poll?
Sorry about that. No worries, everybody. We'll keep that data going. So I think here we are.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is what I want. How comfortable are you with AI curating your personal learning experience? I love it. I've been waiting for it. Cool. Let's see if it works. I guess I'll try it, but I'm skeptical. This seems creepy and weird. No way. Humans for the win. So let's see how we're doing here. Hey, man, I'm getting a lot of cool. Let's see if it works. Mimi, does that surprise you? Some people are interested in this.
Yeah, but the reactions are mixed. But
Yeah,
I
it's
think
true.
most of them
some
are up
people
for
say
it.
love it. Most of them are. So I guess I'll try it. This seems creepy and weird. No way. Humans for the win. Okay. But the winner is cool. Let's see if it works. I'm with you guys. Nimi, what would you choose? If if you had an AI brain that was looking at all your Slack messages, all your emails, listening to your calls, transcribed your Zoom calls, and then giving you a dashboard that says, Nimi, based on your role, and Nimi is one of our associate VPs. She's a genius solutions expert. I mean, would you go for it, Nimi, or no?
It depends. Our goal is not to replace the humans. It's to
No.
enhance the learning experiences and,
Yeah,
make it faster
exactly
for
right.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
how much do we really want to go down that hole? And it's incredible, guys. McKinsey's doing it now with Quantum Black. Okay, thank you for that, Philip. All right, I think I'm going to turn this back over to Nimi now to kind of bring it home. But first, a couple more things. The dynamic publishing model, we're sort of moving from the fixed publishing model, which is create training and then put it out there and then update it. Now the dynamic model is everything is managed within the structure. Courses, podcast tutorials, AI coaches, all that's built dynamically. Templates with dozens of other user interactions are well defined. Branding, colors, everything's just done automatically. And then you're getting that personalized learning experience. And then notifications, certifications, certificate skills, all of that's configurable. And then your team spaces, your skill groups. This means Teams, Slack, your email, your drives, your SharePoints. All that live learning is integrated. So I think that's very interesting where that's headed. I feel like we as instructional designers and learning professionals our work is not going away. It's just evolving into understanding all of this. Let's look at something I saw recently. This was Josh Burson. In fact, you can see up here in the upper right-hand corner, there's Josh. So Josh Burson is saying he's one of this was a recent webinar I attended, but he was speaking about the revolution and how this is transforming L&D. And his point was content will be generated dynamically and continually. Content vendors change. They must change, and they must be ready for the change. So some of you who are vendors or contractors out there putting your services out there, and we are, ELB's the same, we have to be ready to evolve and ready to change. Each learner will see a different experience based on their history, which we already talked about. That's happening. Existing content and tools must merge from LMS into an AI layer. Just like I was saying earlier with the ELB AI companion, it's now sitting in the LMS and learning all the stuff in there and then personalizing my learning. Knowledge management merges with learning and functional areas. There's still a need for learning architecture and standards, and then user experience is really shifting toward bots and conversations. So we're working now with IT on AI policies, governance, and data. So it's kind of the direction we're headed. And some of those personalized playbook items, we wanted to say, here's some things in the playbook that are happening now. Some things are definitely, the rehearsal tool we showed you is definitely approachable. Doing things like the chatbot example we showed you from our friend Vince. What McKinsey's doing, that's like the high end of the spectrum. And I really appreciate your input, though, because this group is saying, hey, man, it's cool. Let's try it. Okay, but Nimi, please share with us a few examples of other ways we've been able to provide scaled personalization here at ELB.
well, in the case of the healthcare onboarding, we used Lectora and we deployed it on Rockstar Learning, our platform. And we were able to design role-based modules that allowed the learner to focus only what they need.
Right on.
And
Yeah,
for the
that's
sales,
one you were talking about earlier, Nimi.
yeah, the one that we spoke about earlier. And
Yes, yes.
for the sales enablement, we were able to use scenario VR and rehearsal. We use both of them. And we were able to improve the retention by 40%.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And finally, for the global tech company, we again used the Rockstar platform, and we created personalized new hire journeys, and that spanned over around 10 roles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the
So
global tech company example, that was interesting because it
yeah,
they literally had so many different groups they were hiring. This group for the small and mid-sized business industry or focus, this group for B2B or B2C. And so all the learning had different journeys, different things they had to know. So the training had to be modular and then launched across the LMS. Okay, and then let's see what else we got here. Here's sort of the bringing it all together. What is the ROI of personalizing our learning paths? Do you want to walk through this one, Nimi?
Yeah, so these are the real results that we got from personalized learning. So let's be honest, you already know the value of getting learning right. When it clicks, people engage more, they retain more, they get productive faster. And but here's the shift with AI and personalization. We are not just improving how we deliver learning, but we are changing who it works for. So instead of a one size fits all, imagine a new hire skipping what they already know and jumping straight to what they need, or a frontline manager getting nudges based on how their team is actually performing, or an employee who's proactively building a path to their next role without waiting for HR. So that's where we are seeing the real ROI, not just by getting better learning metrics, but better business outcomes. So it
Thank you,
starts
Nimi.
with personalization. It's just not a buzzword, it's about building it into the experience.
Mm-hmm. Empowered autonomous learners. That's so interesting to me. And I'm an old guy, so I envy all you youngsters who are just coming up in this industry. Man, it's going to look so different in 10 years. And I'm really going to be paying attention, but maybe I'll still be around. So would you please tell us, where are you on your personalization journey? What's your biggest barrier? Some of you are already answering these earlier.
Right. But please continue. If you haven't answered, please do answer. Thanks.
Yeah. Too many learners, or leadership buy-in is challenging. No strategy, lack of time. Budget constraints is a big one. Yeah, I hear you. It's going to get cheaper, just like everything, but it looks like lack of time is a big one. And then no strategy. That's a really big one too. Nimi, we've even seen that here at ELB,
Yeah.
where it's like Nimi and I are over here in India, and Nimi was on my team when we first acquired the Origin Learning here in Chennai, and I was back in Utah in the US. And so Nimi and I have known each other for years now, but now that I'm over here living in India and working with the teams here, it's like, what are we using? Who's using what? Nimi, I guess in your job daily, you're probably using AI to help with learning about a client, providing a proposal. My teams are doing instructional design, doing a lot of learning development, and we always have to check the statement of work. Is this client allowing us to use AI? So, it's sort of a wild, wild west right now, but it's a tool that certainly gives us so much power along the road of personalization. Okay, we'll just wrapping up here, a few items that can help you take the next step. Nimi, did you want to share anything specific here? Some things that this team could do, the people that are attending could do to maybe engage with us if they wanted to?
Yeah, first we have a downloadable, scalable personalization playbook, and this is packed with some real world strategies and tools and use cases to help you design learning experiences and adapt it to different audiences. And it's a great starting point if you're looking to build a case internally or to refine your approach. And you can book a strategy consult or demo with us, where you can, if you prefer a more hands on conversation, we'll walk you through your current learning ecosystem and explore how we can personalize different approaches powered by AI or any other tool that will align with your goals. And finally, gamifying personal learning journeys. If you're interested in making personalization fun and sticky, um, we can offer resources and examples on how to gamify learning journeys. So this is where we can combine data, learner choice, and meaningful incentives to create experiences that are not only personalized but also memorable.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
Thank you, Nimi. Okay, I think we reached the end, Philip. Thank you to my co-partner, Nimi. We did it. That was fun, you
Wow.
guys.
What what an amazing look at how fast things are moving. It's just pretty incredible.
Yeah, it really is. We're at a time now that we've never been at before. And as we shared, Josh Burson and others are saying, it's the evolution is here. It's happening. We're at this human behavior engineering apex now. We're sort of getting to the other side of the mountain. Now what's out there and how is everything changing and what will things look like in the near future? But I really hope that everybody will get a chance to try doing some personalization, whether you're digging in deep or at least maybe you say to yourself, all right, I'm not going to do the ABCD anymore on scenarios. We've got to figure out a way to use AI. So that's the kind of thing we're talking about. So I hope that would be helpful.
Absolutely. And we have a special link there for more on learning strategy from ELB Learning. And then also in the handouts, there were the 5 proven tactics. Did you want to refer to that or tell people a little bit more about that handout?
Yeah, the 5 proven tactics do go a little bit deeper than what we talked about here, but they are some quick and easy things that can be done. Many of you said, I don't have a budget or I don't have buy-in from management. The handout can give you a little bit better guide some path, I guess, to try some things maybe you haven't thought of before that are not going to break the bank or be too expensive or be outside your circle of influence.
Wonderful. That's there as handout number 1. And the presentation was so great today. People were clamoring for the slides. That's handout number 4. There, and if you can't download these now, don't worry. They will post also with today's recording, which will post a little bit later in Training Magazine Network. Because I know that you will want to share this with everyone. And don't forget, invite others to join our community. Membership is free. I'll put a little bit more on that here in our chat. We still have a moment here to James said, how do you get the playbook, Nimi?
It's downloadable. I think we can
Or
put
maybe
it
Josh
on.
in the background there.
Josh will have,
if you
yeah,
can
Josh
put
in the
that in.
background will be able to help. Yeah.
But yeah, but go ahead and put that in chat, Josh, if you can. And then also we had such a dynamic discussion here today. People were asking about sharing the chat transcript. We will do that also with the recording. And don't forget, you can even print out a certificate of participation also, and you can put in more on what other topics you'd like to see to have done. And if that's not enough, please rate today's session and put in your most valuable takeaways. A lot going on here, and we're going to share all of this with ELB, and it helps them also develop future content for all of us. So thank you everyone.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you.
again, you have a moment here to sneak in your last minute question for either Nimi or Rich or Josh Bledgy in the background, also with ELB.
I did see a couple questions over here in the panel. Philip, what if not all departments in a company can have the same level of access to information? That's an interesting one. That's a technical issue, I believe, that could be certainly solved with login. So only certain information is available based on the login. Probably all LMSs have something like this. Ours certainly does. We have what's called a learner group. So in the Rockstar Learning platform, which is our primary flagship LMS, there's a learner group that gets assigned. If you're in this department, you have this learner group code. And then if you're in this department, you have this learner group code. And then each user has a learner group ID. So when they log in, they can only see what's assigned to their learner group. So hopefully that's something that's helpful. And then whatever gets designed in there, that's where we as architects come in. We're the ones that have to determine what goes into those learner group experiences. And then I see Chris said, it's a strong focus on soft skills. How might this apply to technical training, such as software simulations? I'm sure Josh would have a lot to say about that. Josh is our sales engineer. For me, the first thing I would say about a technical or a software simulation is please be looking at tools like WhatFix or WalkMe. There was a day when I used to do software training, and it was all screen scrapes. Grab a screenshot, put some hotspots on it, put some links in it, simulate a drop-down menu, and then when the system changed, you got to change all of it. Where tools like WalkMe and WhatFix, they're sitting on a cloud layer above the tool, and this is assuming the tool is cloud-based. But the learning you're building is so dynamic, and there's much more we could talk about there. But yeah, it's a different animal, Chris. You're right, than soft skills. We had some ideas on that too, though. So I guess we're out of time now.
Very,
Yeah.
very good. Boy, we could spend a whole day continuing this, but thank you,
Yes.
everybody, for attending today's session. There is time here still to put in your most useful idea or takeaways. Keep those coming. Again, we're going to share all of that with ELB Learning. And wow, what a valuable session! What a lot of great information here today. Thank you to all of our members, and we do want to say also thank you to ELB Learning for making today's event possible.